Hello, I'm Shalini from India, and today I would like to share my personal view on the COVID situation in my country and what are the government strategies and how they plan to overcome the crisis. So, what I would like to share is my personal opinion. So, in my personal opinion, the reason for the second surge of COVID was basically, I think it was a behavioral issue because by end of December 2020 and beginning of Jan, all of us felt that we have overcome the COVID crisis, though there were many warnings. Because when you're looking at COVID, like there were a lot of new mutants that were found. Like there were the various variants, like there was the UK variant, there was the local Indian variant that were found, and actually, the researchers were supposed to do the genome typing and to find out, but then halfway through the crisis, it was left through because everybody, had this false. Notion that we have achieved herd immunity, and because of which everything opened up, all businesses opened up, we had malls, we had youngsters going out, there was no protocols that were taken regarding COVID situation, like wearing masks or anything. So that was one of the biggest reasons, maybe because of the second wave. The other thing was also the religious gathering, like you had the Kumbh Mela, which was uncalled for, and then you had the election rally, and people totally forgot about social distancing and about wearing masks, which actually led to the surge. And then the country came down on its knees because the healthcare systems were failing. They were not able to handle COVID cases. People were dying because of no oxygen. So this was the crisis that you could see all over the country, and it was really a devastating situation that was around. And slowly, like somehow the government has been able to overcome the crisis because they have been able to decentralize leadership and power to states and smaller districts and union, and people have been doing things that they could do on their own. And also a lot of NGOs, a lot of CSR initiatives which came up, where people donated oxygen concentrators, people worked. Then there were a lot of SOSs coming from hospitals telling that they were running out of oxygen. So it was actually the local citizens or the local groups that went forward and took over to the crisis and saw that things could be put in place. So right now, if you look at the country, we have some kind of a strategy. Of course, we need to put in more efforts on looking at COVID related issues, but also there were strategies where people were trained on home based care, so that you do not overcrowd the hospitals, where people who really deserve those beds do not are not going failed or not looked into. So there were many posters that were made. There was a lot of awareness that was created on how people with mild symptoms could do a home care based recovery in consultation with the doctor. So there were a lot of online consultations or e-line consultations that were there, so people were able to manage mild COVID situations at their homes or in local areas. So that was something that the government tried up. And then next thing was to reach out to the military. So as you know, like India has a larger military outreach. So they opened up their doors, they opened up their facilities to public people. They also helped in giving oxygen. Also government has imported 50,000 metric tons of liquid oxygen, and then these oxygens were then transported to different areas and situations to airlifted. They were transported by train, by buses, by whatever methods that were there. So these were some of the strategies that were put in place, and a lot of local NGOs, a lot of local humanitarian groups played a major role in trying to control this crisis. So I think right now we are at a point where we have almost a better control situation, though I wouldn't say that it is totally under control. But of course there are certain cities that are emerging as epicenters. So since we have a outline, or since we have a knowledge of what could be done, I think people are doing their best so that all the people who are really in need are taken care of. So when you're looking at the lockdown, if you talk of the lockdown, of course, every state has been given the authority to have their own lockdowns that they could do. So currently, if you look at mostly most of the cities in the countries are under strict lockdown, and I think it's going to extend up to June 7th. So each city or each state can verify based on what they feel is needed or what they feel is best. So it has been localized, so if some if so that it is more sustainable, and also people are not out of jobs, because when you're looking at the last year, we saw a lot of panic, a lot of migrant movement because of the COVID situation. I think we are able to manage that better this time. So there are a few strategies that are in place. Of course, implementation will always remain a challenge, but I think people are doing the best to implement it in the most best ways, so that you're able to manage the crisis. Thank you so much.